It is known for one of the best preserved Roman ruins in the world. But this isn't Italy. It's steeped in Greek mythology, a place where Homer's epics come to life. But it's not Greece. It's where a succession of historic empires have left their mark. And pagan, Christian, Muslim, and Jewish cultures have collided and coexisted. A sprawling coastline of incredible beauty, with stunning landscapes, endless beaches, and clear turquoise waters that have been traversed for millennia. Yet, they're still waiting to be discovered. It's a destination that is equally alluring and surprising, where you can explore the past, live in the present, and ponder the future. I'm Peter Greenberg, and this is Turkey's Hidden Aegean. Covering nearly 83,000 square miles, the Aegean Sea has supported some of the greatest civilizations in history, including the Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman Empires. Surrounded by Greece to the north and west, and the Mediterranean to the south, the east shore of the Aegean is bounded by Turkey. This 1,700-mile-long stretch of coastline marks the western edge of Asia Minor, the Roman alias for the Anatolian Peninsula, which is figured so prominently in history. But where ancient armies once marched and clashed, now only bracing winds off the Aegean buffet the ruins of the past. Historically, the sea was more of a connection than a barrier, as it was faster and more convenient to travel by boat, making the ancient regions now defined as Greece and Turkey more closely intertwined. I started my journey at the northern boundary of the Aegean, the Dardanelles. Because of its strategic location between two continents, Europe and Asia, and between two seas, the Black and the Aegean, this area was settled for thousands of years. It was also witness to countless wars, including the nearby battlefields of Gallipoli, which draws most visitors to this region. But I'm here to explore something else that you might not expect to find in Turkey. You may remember the legendary Battle of Troy from high school Greek mythology, when the invading Greeks built a huge wooden horse, filled it with soldiers, and rolled it up to the gates of the city, sneaking their soldiers inside and defeating the Trojans. While the horse may be a bit of mythology and Hollywood fantasy, the 5,000-year-old city is real, and here in Turkey.
Now we are walking on the Troy's walls. Be careful.
Yep.
Archaeologist Rustam Aslan is director of the Troy Excavation and has been working on this site since 1988.
Peter, look, this wall. You can see the damages through the earthquake.
And then that wall over there?
It's 1,000 years older than this wall.
Wow.
That means they built or rebuilt.
Again and again.
Again, in 3,000 years, we have 9 different cities top each other.
The stacked cities look like a layer cake of history in cross-section, with the oldest cities on the bottom and the newest at the top. Excavations here have uncovered artifacts from the legendary Trojan War in this 6th layer, dating back to 1200 BC.
But you're telling me that Troy actually happened here, not in Greece.
Not in Greece, and it's happened, everything's here.
So everything I learned in high school was wrong.
It's maybe.
Wrong.
Yes.
But what does that make Homer's Iliad? Fiction?
There is some part of the Iliad is based on historical events.
So it's a historical novel.
We can say like this.
But everything that you're excavating is confirming to you that it really did happen.
Everything's happened here.
Besides its strategic geographic location, the ancient city sat high on a hill, making it easier to defend. It also may have benefited from the Ataceans, which means annual winds in Greek, gusting from the northeast and making access to Troy more difficult for invading ships and intrepid explorers.
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
The ancient city was first discovered by a German architect and treasure hunter named Heinrich Schliemann, who left his mark on this site in many ways.
Peter, now we are looking to Schliemann Trench. He began his first official excavation, 1871. Was the top of the trees, was a very high mound.
And he started cutting.
Yes, he cut until the bedrock and through the whole side.
And what did he find down there?
He found here actually not much, but let me show where he found and what he stole.
He stole.
Schliemann's search for the legendary treasure of Priam did not adhere to the methodical archaeological techniques used today, which allowed important historical information and artifacts to be lost, destroyed, or stolen.
And when Schliemann excavated here, he found over there these trees.
Over there.
Yes, the inside of the Troy 2 wall, the treasure.
And what was in there?
It was a very big treasure. It was more than 10,000 pieces, gold, silver, electron, bronze, and he smuggled from Turkey first to Athens and then to Germany.
And then what happened?
Just after the Second World War, all the treasure was disappeared.
Any chance of getting it back?
Schliemann's historic photographs show the treasures, including an ancient headpiece worn by his wife that went missing for nearly 50 years, until it was discovered that Russian soldiers had taken the treasures back to Moscow, where they're now being displayed in the Pushkin Museum. These treasures may never be returned, but in 2018, the Troy Museum was built adjacent to the ancient city to collect and display the other artifacts that have been discovered here. Different levels of the museum reflect the different layers of this site, illustrating the complicated history of this area, as well as the painstaking process of restoring thousands of ancient artifacts that will continue to reveal the true story of this legendary city. South of Troy is Mount Ida, a verdant peak where Homer's writings suggested that Zeus and his wife Hera watched the Battle of Troy. The mountain offers commanding views of the Aegean, but it's hard to make out Troy, as it's almost 20 miles away. What you can see is orderly groves of olive trees blanketing the base of the mountain in an area that has been called the Olive Riviera. Tucked in amongst the olive groves is Adatepe, a village where you'll find old Greek houses and an unusual tasting opportunity. But I'm not talking about ice cream.
Later.
So head past the stands at the base of the village, then up the hill, through the narrow winding streets towards the end of the road. Be sure to say hello to all the locals. And then head towards a small house shaded by a dense canopy of trees.
Hello.
Hello, welcome to my village.
It's a beautiful village.
Yeah,
How long have you been here?
maybe 35 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Hussein Meral came to Adatepe to retire in the 1980s. But the preponderance of olive orchards inspired him to produce olive oil, just as they did in early Roman times. By taking a large quantity of olives, then lightly stone grinding them to produce the highest quality oil.
That's what this is?
Yeah, that's it.
So,
And we call it flour of the oil.
how many kilos of olives in here?
About 20, 30 kilos olives to get 1 kilos of flour of the oil.
So this is high-test olive oil.
Yeah, that's extra virgin.
No,
That's-
extra virgin. Is it good?
Yeah, would you like test?
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Hussein has developed a regimented process for tasting olive
Taste
oil,
it.
which is similar to wine tasting and uses the same glasses,
Whoa.
but with a generous serving of olive oil.
This is the first time I've toasted olive oil.
You do like the wine.
Yeah.
You take some and then you
Ah,
take some air and then you take the
Okay.
taste.
just a little, right?
And first you have to look the color.
Beautiful.
And then you have to.
Yep.
Hussein has lots of instructions, and it's obvious he also has something that I
That's good.
lack: patience.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Finally, we get to taste it. I only hope that I'm doing it correctly. The swishing, the breathing.
Nice. Very smooth. You're still going. You're still going.
Homer referred to olive oil as liquid gold, and clearly Hussein agrees.
I like that olive oils.
I think you do. I think I do.
Thank you.
The village of Adatepe and Hussein have been greatly influenced by Greek and Roman culture, and that didn't stop here. 80 miles of Adatepe, you can find the Greco-Roman city of Pergamon, with striking ruins perched high on a hilltop, towering over the modern town of Bergamo below. While the impressive Temple of Trajan and the 10,000-seat theater draped dramatically down the hillside may catch your eye, you can easily miss what this ancient city was best known for: a library that was once considered one of the world's main centers of learning. Only the rubble foundation remains. But in the 3rd century BC, it held over 200,000 volumes, rivaling the great library in Alexandria. This infuriated King Ptolemy, so he forbade the export of Egyptian papyrus used for scrolls, forcing Pergamon to use animal skins to create writing materials. Although the tradition of making parchment is still practiced by an old master and his young apprentice, today Bergamo may be best known for traditional Turkish carpets. In small towns like Bergamo, I like to get off the tourist track and discover where the locals like to eat. And the best place to find a local who speaks English is often the nearest carpet seller.
Hello.
Kutladın mı? Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Feray. Nice to meet you.
Peter, nice to meet you.
My mother.
Ah, hi, Mom.
She's beautiful.
Mama, okay. Beautiful.
Let me show you some rocks which are from Bergamo area.
I'm sure Feral Emir and her mama will know the best places to eat, as they've had a store in Bergamo since the 1960s.
Beautiful.
They
Another.
are always same design, but always the tones are different, as you see.
But it still may be a challenge to get lunch,
What do you think? Did you like them?
Nice.
Yes.
as Turkish carpet sellers rarely take no for an answer,
Güzel mi?
in any language.
This is another Bergamo carpet. We call it Arpadere.
Arpa dere. Ha.
And with these two double teaming me, I can't hold out for long.
Şimdi şunu aç. O halıyı göster. Heh. O. Bir de şunu.
But Farrell can't toss these heavy carpets all day. So I might have a chance.
Peter, would you like some apple tea or would you like a rock? Maybe.
Well, you know what? Apple tea later, rug later, but we're going to get some lunch.
I know a place. Follow me.
Bergamo has great places for food, like this shop that serves fresh, creamy cheese smothered in honey. And it's known for its meatballs called kafte. But Farrell takes you to try a local dish with an interesting name, patlıcan çırpma, which translates to screaming eggplant, at a family restaurant run by Abdullah Gozkaya and his son Musi.
Musi, Peter,
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
local chef. He prepares aubergine çırpma.
Eggplant.
Oh, eggplant.
Eggplant, yeah.
And the name comes from when we put it into boiling hot olive oil, it is screaming like that.
It almost
something like
explodes.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
If you like to see,
Yeah, let's do it. All right. What's cooking in there?
This is soup.
What kind of soup?
Yes, this is sheep.
Sheep.
Yes.
I actually prefer it when my soup doesn't look back at me, so I'm gonna stick with the çırpma.
Okay, ready? Just put one in. Whoa!
Very dangerous.
I know. It's angry.
Yes.
With this boiling hot oil, it's not just the eggplant that's screaming.
Oh man, I can feel
Yes.
it.
And in no time, it's nicely browned and ready to come out.
They're still screaming at me.
Yes.
Then we quickly fry some green peppers
Just throw them in?
Yes.
Attention, please.
and tomatoes with garlic.
They never have enough garlic. Okay,
Okay.
we got it.
And put it all together.
So you put the peppers
Yes.
on the eggplants?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Good?
Good.
Oh, yeah, look at that. The whole thing?
Yes.
The whole thing. Done.
This is too much.
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, one for you. One for you.
Thank you.
And two for me.
I like it.
You approve?
Yeah.
Good.
There's much more to Bergamo than restaurants and carpet stores, as it also has history dating back thousands of years. These ancient Roman ruins, known as the Red Hall, may have originally been built as a temple to the Egyptian gods in the 2nd century AD. But 300 years later, a Christian basilica was built inside the massive hall, one of the infamous 7 churches of the Apocalypse mentioned in the Book of Revelation. Bergamo also has the longest-running outdoor market in Turkey, which is a popular hangout for the locals and filled with much of what you might expect.
Tea shops, coffee shops.
Yep, and the dog.
But Feral wants to show me something further off the beaten path. What catches my attention first is a sign that says parking costs 7 Turkish lira a day.
Merhaba.
Merhaba.
That's about 40 cents. Definitely not a New York City rate. Of course, Feral has something else in mind. Surprise! Carpets. These are being made by master weaver and teacher Adatepe, using a special knot that is a Bergamo tradition.
Hoş
Merhaba.
geldin.
Hi Peter, may I
Merhaba.
introduce you my friend Hatice. She's
Hey.
master of knitting. She will show us a double knot.
This is the double knot.
Gordian knot also we call it.
The term Gordian knot comes from an ancient Greek legend about Alexander the Great. It was such a complex knot that no one could undo it, until Alexander came and sliced it in half with a single stroke of his sword. The double knot isn't as complex, but it doesn't look easy.
Do you want to try?
Do I want to try this?
Tabii.
Öğretebilir
Okay,
misin?
I'm
Hadi
coming.
gideyim.
I'm coming.
I'm not an arts and crafts guy, so I definitely need some instruction.
Double line.
Double line.
Şöyle geçirdik.
And then I put that through there.
Bottom.
Oh, bottom.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Watching Hatice, it's clear she's the master weaver,
Oh, I see.
and I need more practice.
Okay, we'll try again. Okay, I do that like so,
Uh-huh.
right? Then I put this down below.
Evet.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
And then I pull it all the way down. And
Şahane.
I did it?
Yes.
Wow.
I was able to tie one double knot, but there are thousands to go. So I'll let the pro finish this carpet.
I'll see you in 2 weeks when it's done.
And even though I won't be weaving a carpet, I can't avoid buying one.
Oh, thank you.
Feral may offer a fair price for her carpets, but I have a little trick to make sure I get the best deal for my purchases.
Hello again.
Now a carpet.
Now a carpet. All right, how much for that one?
This is $700.
$700. All right.
I get the best price by starting with a credit card.
American Express?
American Express veriyor anne.
No.
Mom says no. Okay. A discount for Visa?
Visa.
And then I ask for the cash discount.
All right, how much for cash?
Cash, I can do it for $600 for you.
Okay.
It's good. Deal? Thank you.
Good?
Good. Very good.
Much of the Aegean coast is dotted with small towns like Pergamon. But just 70 miles to the south, you'll find the thriving metropolis of Izmir, Turkey's 3rd largest city, and home to the country's biggest port. The city's roots go back 8,500 years. Once known as the ancient Greek city of Smyrna, it was a cosmopolitan center of trade that numerous cultures called home. During the Roman era in the 4th century BC, the Agora was constructed, an open-air market thought to be the biggest of its kind in the ancient world. Today, you can see its remains, as well as its sophisticated Roman plumbing. And the Agora has evolved, along with the growing city, into the Kemeraltı, the biggest outdoor market in Turkey.
Oh, merhaba. Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that.
The Kemeraltı is home to 15,000 shops, 3 times the amount in Istanbul's Grand Bazaar. Down these labyrinthian corridors, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the aromas of endless fresh produce and meat, and the clatter of artisans at work. But some of the merchandise needs to be handled very carefully.
Ooh, sharp. Very sharp. I know. Oof.
Out on the streets, it's easy to spot the mosques soaring above the bazaar. But right in the middle of this bustling market, there's an almost forgotten, hidden corner with some amazing history, if you know where to look, or you have someone to show you.
Tilda,
Hi, Peter.
nice to meet you. So where are we going?
Well, come with me. I'll show you because it's not easy to find on your own. Once you enter Harbor Street, turn at the fish vendors and walk less than 50 feet, and you will see the beginning of a wall. That's just the first synagogue.
Tilda Koenka is leading me into the old Jewish quarter, an almost forgotten enclave where her mother grew up, that's filled with historic synagogues.
Boy, lots of surprises here.
And I have here even more for you. Here is something not everyone sees, Peter. You see these 3 walls?
Yeah.
These are the outer walls of 3 different synagogues,
Right next to each other.
right next to each other.
And you only have to turn your head to see a 4th synagogue, a strange cluster in the heart of the city.
So why were they all so close together?
Well, the Jewish community did not come to Izmir at once. They came in different time periods, sometimes even in different centuries.
Tens of thousands of Sephardic Jews made their way to Ottoman territories after being expelled from Spain and Portugal at the height of the Spanish Inquisition. The Jewish population in Izmir peaked at nearly 40,000 at the end of the 18th century. But as the community dispersed, the synagogues were abandoned and almost lost, but not forgotten.
So are all the synagogues in this area in this state of disrepair?
No, let me show you. We know there are 9 synagogues in the area. We are now working on restoring as many as we can. It is a process that will take years, but we at least have started.
The Jewish population today, less than 1,000. But Tilda's work with the Jewish Heritage Project is helping to rebuild what remains of these historic synagogues and their disappearing culture.
You hear that?
Yeah.
Come with me.
This traditional music is sung in Ladino, the language of the Sephardic Jews who were exiled from Spain and Portugal. The song, Adio Querida, is a farewell to a former love, and perhaps a former home.
Most people never see these hidden synagogues and never hear this music in its original language. But we try to keep them all alive so we can celebrate and remember our history, our religion, our culture. It is something that we should never forget.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And you knew all the words.
Yes.
These hidden synagogues are an unexpected escape from the modern city. But to really get away, the locals head out to the nearby Çeşme Peninsula. Just an hour west of Izmir, you'll find the picturesque town of Alata, a 19th century village, once known for its olive oil and soothing breezes, that has now become a mecca for windsurfing and food. The cobblestone streets are lined with small cafes, and it's not hard to find a great farm-to-table restaurant, sometimes right in the farm. But I head further east, into the sprawling farmland along the coast, near Ula, using the giant wind turbines to guide me towards a piece of history that few people get to see. It sounds easy enough. You just hang a right before the third turbine, then follow the dirt road to the giant olive tree.
Hi, welcome, Peter.
Thank you, John. This is quite a place.
Thank you.
That's quite a tree.
It is the oldest olive tree here, 1800 years old.
Wow. Still produces olives?
Very tasty ones, but I have older things to show you.
John Orbitash started the Uspash Arboretum in 1996 to grow 1,900 different types of plants. But as they tilled these grounds, they made a surprising discovery.
One day, when we were digging up here, we found these amphoras, more than 2,000 years old, still smelling of wine.
Amazing.
The culture was lost, but the proof was here.
So you knew they'd made wine?
Yes, people were making wine for centuries here in Anatolia.
Although the Egyptians may first come to mind when you think of ancient viticulture, archaeologists have found evidence of wine production dating back nearly 10,000 years at the site of the world's first city in Anatolia. So these ancient vessels, with the scent of wine, inspired John to take a chance.
The terroir, night and day differences, sea breezes, soil, we knew we can do it again.
And you did.
In 2000, John started his first vineyard using historic varieties of local grapes. Today, the vines are thriving and in need of constant attention.
So how many vines are we talking about here?
170 acres.
That's a lot. And those ladies out there, what are they doing?
They are getting ready for green harvesting.
And that's where you work, what, directly with the grapes?
With the grapes to have more concentration.
Although it may seem counterintuitive, during green harvest, unripe grapes are pruned from the vines. This allows the remaining grapes to thrive and produce a more concentrated wine. John wanted me to give it a try, but my experience is drinking wine, not making it.
So I just come right over here to the bunches here?
Mm-hmm.
So what, I cut this one?
Peter, you decide.
Okay, this is the one.
Yes, this
Okay.
is the right one.
Okay,
All
I'll
right,
just
throw
throw that
it.
out?
Yeah, and go on.
This one right here. Okay. Right? Okay.
Yes, this
And
one, right.
Out it goes.
It goes.
And how many vines are out here?
We're gonna be here for a while.
With ancient vineyards that are older than Egypt's and Greek mythology that didn't happen in Greece, the Turkish Aegean makes me reconsider my entire understanding of world history. And just 60 miles down the coast from Ula is the ancient city of Ephesus, where you'll find one of the world's best preserved Roman ruins. Set on a strategic trade route, Ephesus was once a cultural and religious crossroads and the most important Greco-Roman city in the Eastern Mediterranean. These days, the ancient city is besieged by nearly 500,000 tourists that pour off cruise ships each summer to see the ruins, including the original version of a pay toilet. So if you gotta go, every pun intended, it's best to get there on a day when the cruise ships aren't in port. And if you want to skip the crowds altogether, you can head an hour down the coast to Lake Baffa and the Buyuk Menderes, also known as the Meander River. If the name sounds familiar, it's because the word meander was inspired by the winding course of this river. Originating from springs nearly 200 miles inland, the meander takes a sinuous path to the coast, depositing silt that created fertile farmland and filled an ancient bay. 3,000 years ago, the Aegean pushed almost 20 miles up this river valley. but silt carried by the meander slowly filled the ancient bay, leaving only the isolated Lake Baffa. This pocket of salty water has managed to retain all of its Aegean culture, transporting you to another world, far from the throngs of tourists and the pressures of modern-day life. Along its shores are thousands of years of history, from the ancient port city of Heraclea to the prehistoric Kurdamlik cave paintings, as well as monasteries and frescoes created by the Byzantines. If the shores are a monument to the distant past, out on the water is a living present. Fishermen like Akin Karakaya set out every day from the nearby village of Sirchin in pursuit of an unexpected delicacy.
We try to catch the eels.
You've got traps all over here.
All over Euro traps, yeah.
To catch these Lake Baffa eels, Akin comes in the afternoon to set the traps, and then returns in the early morning to check them.
Ah,
Yep.
you got some.
Yep. And now we're gonna use the ladle. Here you are. So now into the basin.
Wow.
Okay, the next one.
You just string them right along.
Akin has 10 traps, all connected underwater, but not all of them catch.
Oh, this is empty. And I don't like this one.
Okay.
Maybe the other one.
But he doesn't get discouraged. His family has been in Sirchin for 800 years, surviving off the land and the water.
You got anything in there? Ah, we do. These are freshwater eels?
Freshwater eel.
But they came from saltwater too.
Came from saltwater. Great.
There we go.
These eels are somewhat unusual, as they live in both fresh and salt water, and they take an astounding route to get to Lake Baffa. Hatched in the Sargasso Sea in the West Atlantic, they spend 3 years crossing the ocean, the Mediterranean, and the Aegean, then swim up the Meander River and into the lake.
This is the last one.
Last one. Whoa! Well, that's one big eel. How old is that guy?
Maybe 15 years old.
Seriously, 15 years old?
Yeah.
I'd never seen an eel that big, so I wanted to try and get a closer look.
Okay. Oh my God! You can't. Oh! Oh!
Almost. That's why they say it's slippery as a eel.
Just for that, dinner. Not a bad morning's work.
With the traps empty, we head back to shore. Sirchin has less than 1,000 residents and 1 restaurant, but the chef was happy to cook our fresh catch.
I was taking the backbone, and then after we're gonna put them to fire, grilling.
Pretty simple.
It's the easiest thing in the world, cooking eels.
Some people think eels are gross and slimy and wouldn't even touch them, while others think they're a delicacy. I'm going to try the local variety and decide for myself.
Here we are.
Wow.
Yep.
Pre-oiled.
Yep.
Ready to go.
Yes.
One-stop shopping. The fish that comes with its own oil.
Delicious.
While fresh eel and the rugged remote landscapes of Baffa may not be for everyone, 60 miles south of Lake Baffa is one of the most popular destinations along the Aegean, the port city of Bodrum. Its 2 scenic bays are separated by the majestic Bodrum Castle, which was erected in the 1400s by the crusading Knights of St. John. The castle was constructed using stones and marble from the ruins of the ancient Carian city of Halicarnassus, which included the tomb of Mausolus, a massive mausoleum built around 350 BC that is considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. But one of the most interesting ancient sites on this peninsula is far off the tourist track, so you'll need the right gear and the right guide to get there.
Hey, man.
Good morning, Peter.
How are you?
I'm great. How about you?
Good. Let's do it.
Why not? Let's go.
My guide is Denis Kilic, a former motocross and enduro racer who has traveled by motorcycle all the way from Turkey to the southern tip of the African continent. Today, we're just climbing a local mountain, not crossing an entire continent. So Denise has suggested electric mountain bikes for this trip. We're heading up a route called the Leleg Way, named for the Aboriginal people that inhabited this region as early as the 15th century BC. 115 miles of trails connect ancient Lelegian sites across the peninsula, and Denise is taking me to one of the lesser known and best preserved spots in the region.
So this is it?
For the bikes.
It turns out we'll need to do some hiking as well.
And how far to the top again?
Just around the corner.
That's what you said 10 minutes ago.
But Denise swears it will be worth it.
Wow, that's a wow.
Yeah, here we are. This is Gebek Kilise.
And that means?
This means Pregnant Valley Church.
Interesting name.
Yeah, but there is no any connection with church. This is grave, this is tombs.
Well, they picked the right location.
Perfect locations, top of the hill.
A tomb with a view.
Yeah, it's a real place for peace.
Archaeologists believe this tomb was constructed over 2,600 years ago. But unlike the city of Halicarnassus, it has withstood the test of time.
Mind your head. You go first, please.
Mind my step, too.
Yes, please.
Another wow. Oh, this is a lot deeper than I thought.
Outside, it's a huge dome. As you see, inside it's a beautiful pyramid.
Who knew? So this has stood here for 2,600 years, even with earthquakes.
But with little damage.
Human damage.
Yes, used to be a one piece, but it's a huge damage. Thieves, burglars.
The grave robbers were coming in.
They were looking for treasures.
Did they ever find them?
I hope not.
Very little has been found to reveal more about the Lelegian people and this tomb. So for now it remains a beautiful mystery.
Well, I gotta say, definitely worth the trip up.
Well, one more thing left.
What?
We need to go down.
Why are you laughing?
Down is easier than up, as gravity works in my favor, bringing me back to the waters of the Aegean and the most popular mode of transportation, boats. Boats have long been part of the Aegean culture and so important to the city's history that the Bodrum Castle is now home to the Museum of Underwater Archaeology, which contains artifacts and reconstructions of ancient shipwrecks dating back to the 14th century BC. Historically, boats were even used as currency here. Around 500 BC, the ancient city of Halicarnassus actually paid taxes to Egypt with a trireme, a large ancient warship with 3 rows of oars. But it wasn't until sponge diving became prominent in the 1800s that boats were an integral part of Bodrum's economy and its culture. After World War II, sponge diving and boat building were at their peak, and boatyards were popping up across the Bodrum Peninsula to meet the growing demand of professional sponge divers. But by the 1980s, artificial sponge production had eroded the demand for natural sponges, and the divers, as well as the boatyards, began to disappear. Today in Bodrum, the boatyard is often a backyard, and a stroll through the back streets can reveal some impressive home projects.
Hello? Anybody home? Hey, Mustafa, how are you?
Hi there, welcome.
Can I come on board?
Sure, you can.
Okay.
Mustafa Askeskin is the latest generation of master boat builders in Bodrum, and he's currently working on his 23rd boat.
All right, we're on.
It's a traditional wood tirandil, which was the boat of choice for sponge divers. The name is thought to come from the Greek word for 3 to 1, which relates to the boat being 3 times longer than it's wide.
Beautiful boat.
Thank you.
All wood.
It's all wood, yeah.
What, mahogany?
Mahogany and teak mix, but usually it's mahogany, yeah.
And how long will it take you to finish this?
It's about 10, 11 months.
Almost a year.
Yeah, nearly a year.
And you designed it?
Sure, we designed it, but it's built by eye.
So wait, no blueprint?
Nothing.
No computer?
Nothing, no.
Amazing. So what are you working on today?
Come, I'll show you.
All right.
Over the years, Mustafa has developed an instinct for how all the pieces come together to create one beautiful boat.
These are heavy.
Yeah, it's important for the boat.
The heavier the wood, the better the boat?
Yeah, it is to be strong. Not very, very heavy.
His best-known boat was named Hisir, which has won several prestigious awards at the Bodrum Cup regattas. But for Mustafa, it's the tradition of wooden boat building that's far more important than any prize or award.
That's it?
After about 8 hours.
Took you 8 hours to do this?
Yeah.
Wow.
But the thing is, I'm talking about this boat, the Tyrandils. They are carrying a very important cargo. It's the heritage of the Ottoman Empire. So you have to spend time for it.
And keep the tradition alive.
Exactly.
But people don't make wood boats that much anymore.
Because people love easy things, easy to build. But it's my biggest hobby.
It's your love.
It's my love, exactly. Exactly.
This passion for building traditional boats has been passed down for generations in Bodrum, starting with the master builders of the 1970s, Sia Guvendaran and Name Mehmet, but few of the masters still remain.
My master, now he's about 76 years old, and he learned it from his master, so it goes like that.
And who are you teaching?
Actually, there's nobody with me, because it's a difficult business. It's not easy.
They have to live it.
Yeah, you have to spend your time, your money. You can't make big money with this business.
So what keeps you doing it?
Love. Love.
Here in Bodrum, the best way to understand the passion for wooden boats is to take one out on the water. And people come from all over Turkey and the world to do just that.
When we come out here, it's to get away from the hustle and bustle. It's to find yourself, to find what's important to you, because when you're out here, you're one with nature and you are exposed to all the elements: sight, smell, sound, feeling. And it's something you cannot capture when you're running around doing your daily life. And that's what brings us out here.
For American expat Dina Street, the pull of the Aegean got her over 30 years ago when a major earthquake shook up her life back in California.
And after the earthquake, I had the opportunity to sort of reshift my life, so to say. So I bought a one-way ticket and said, let's see what happens.
Was it really a one-way ticket?
It was a one-way ticket. And most of my friends from our university were shocked that I was throwing away my education, I was throwing away my life to come and live in a fishing village. Now, everyone's like, Dina, when can I visit?
Bodrum was a small fishing village at the beginning of the 20th century, with less than 10,000 residents. But with the rise of the Turkish Republic and just a little tourism, the city has grown dramatically.
Well, since you first came here, Bodrum's got a little crowded.
It has indeed. We've jumped from an official population of about 20,000 people to about 1 million when all the Istanbul, Izmir, and Ankara people come down to their summer villas.
So how do you escape it?
You get on a boat and you come out here and you have the whole sea to yourself.
And the real beauty of a traditional tirandil, it's a sailboat. Once you raise the sails and cut the engine, you eliminate all the background noise of the modern world and sail back into a time when these boats dominated the Aegean.
In the 21st century, there's something special about a wooden boat.
Absolutely. There's nothing artificial about it. You're one with the sea, the sound of the water, the sound of the wind, and it's better than any psychiatrist could ever do for you.
Now, you expect me to go back to California?
Up to you. I've got a boat for sale.
You may have a buyer.
I can make you a deal.
Now that's American. No, I take that back. That's Turkish.
Exactly.
It's certainly tempting to have a boat here, as the coastline heading south and east of the Mediterranean is known as the Turquoise Coast. Named for its beautiful beaches and stunning blue-green water. The word turquoise comes from the French word for Turkish, after the gemstone of the same color that was first brought to Europe through Turkey. From Bodrum, the Aegean wraps around the southwestern tip of Turkey, connecting to the deeper waters of the Mediterranean along the edge of a small tectonic plate bounded by the Greek islands of Crete and Rhodes, then intersecting with the Turkish coastline near the historic fishing village of Dalian. Off the beaten path of Turkish vacationers and cruise ships that can inundate other coastal destinations, Dalian is a hidden gem. The town sits on the winding Dalian River between the great expanse of Lake Kuches and the protected sand beach of Istusu, which is a preferred nesting site for loggerhead sea turtles. Across the river, 3,000-year-old tombs carved into the cliffs tower over the ancient city of Kanos, which was an important port before silt from the river filled up its bay. The word Dalian means fish weir, which look like wooden fences placed in the water to catch fish. The river has long been the lifeblood of this community, and boats remain the main mode of transportation.
I take a boat to the beach. I take a boat to the market, and this isn't me, this is like the whole expat community. About 40% of the population in Dalian are expats.
Leyla Ergil is an American expat who came to Turkey back in 2004 on a Fulbright scholarship and never went back. Today, she's invited me on board a boat owned by expats and filled with expats that's heading across the lake on their weekly grocery run.
We go to the Köyceğiz market because that market is spectacular. And they let us off for like 2 hours and we sort of walk around the market and do our shopping, and then some of us go swimming in the lake, like me, and then some go and sit at the cafe, and then the boat comes back, picks us all up, and then brings us back to Dalian.
So let me see if I get this straight. It's boats to beaches, to shopping, to eating.
Yes.
Not a bad lifestyle.
No, not at all.
This may sound like a vacation, but it's everyday life for a digital nomad like Leyla, who travels the country researching and writing stories for the biggest English language newspaper in Turkey.
You know, I'm nearing into like my 1000th article on Turkish culture, history, expat endeavors, or anything that interests expats.
Running out of ideas?
Never, not in Turkey. There's so much history and so many different sites to see that I'm always traveling, but within an hour, 2 hours driving distance maximum. You can be at an ancient site, a spectacular beach, or a bustling city or Bodrum.
Well, being on this beautiful water, on this beautiful boat, on this beautiful day, I'm almost hesitant to ask, but is there a downside?
It's a whole different mentality here. Things do not go according to time schedules that Westerners are used to. So there is an adjustment curve for English expats who maybe want things at a certain time.
So the motto for the Aegean is, it happens when it happens.
Exactly, yeah.
But in a good way.
In a great way. It's a real slower way of life, especially in the villages and towns I've lived in the Aegean.
For Leyla, it's clearly not just the natural beauty and dramatic history that draws her to this region. It's the people as well.
Turks have very strong values and they live by them. They're very honorable and they like to share. They're very generous. They feel gratitude for everything. It's that personality and this mentality of the Turks that also just makes it so special here.
So this is home?
Yes, definitely.
While the expats like to head north to the market in Köyceğiz. To the south, beyond Radar Mountain, there's a little-known destination that has just about everything you need.
Oh, look what we got here. Mountain goats. There they go.
In a much more rustic setting. But the rough roads are worth the trip, as Kargıcak is a stunning hidden bay that few travelers know about. And if you can tear yourself away from the beach to head inland, you'll be surprised to discover rows of citrus trees and vegetables spreading back to the base of the mountains.
It's a pretty big farm.
It's 30,000 square meters in total, and we have a vegetable garden as 2,000 square meters here.
Wow.
Right now, around this part.
Orçun Dündar was living in Istanbul when he first discovered Kargıcak Bay in 2017. And in less than a year, began this seaside organic farm that has become a simple summer home for the small team that supports it. Orçun is happy to show off their crops and take advantage of a couple of extra hands.
We have some peppers ready.
Okay.
Here. We can grab some of them.
Just pick them like this?
Yeah.
I may have grown up in New York City, but I still know my way around a garden.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we have a different type of pepper here. You see?
Oh, yeah. These are hot?
Maybe. Let's see.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, hot.
They grow an amazing variety of produce on this small farm, which is prepared with locally caught fish to create seasonal dishes for visitors who are lucky enough to make the journey to get here. But I'm more at home on the water than in the kitchen. So while they prepare the food, I head out with Mehmet, Orçun's business partner, to explore the sea. If we continued east into the Mediterranean, we would discover the ancient city of Patara, from a historic republic that inspired our own democracy, as well as Göcek Harbor, which is as impressive as the massive yachts that dock there. For now, I'm more interested in the hidden coves and secret beaches around Kargachak Bay. And motoring across these blue-green waters, I'm reminded of the mix of cultures I've experienced along this coastline. From the city of Troy, where treasures of Greek legends have been discovered and lost, to the Roman ruins of Ephesus, so incredibly preserved, and Aboriginal monuments, magnificent tombs with a view, to the hidden synagogues of Izmir, where an exiled Spanish culture is being reborn.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Although things that are uniquely Turkish stand out in my memory, from an ancient agora that has evolved into a giant outdoor bazaar, a modern vineyard grown on terraces from the earliest history of wine, the Meander River, named for its bends, and a local eggplant dish named for its scream.
Whoa!
Ultimately, it was the history of the sea where I felt the strongest connection. From master boat building, continuing traditions passed on for generations, to the beautiful wooden boats that have sailed these waters for hundreds of years. And then, back to Kargachak Bay, where the warm waters of the Aegean and Mediterranean mix together, uniting the past and the present in a seascape of inescapable beauty. Just a small moment in time in the realm of Turkey's hidden Aegean.